There is a name you have probably never said out loud, not because you don't know it, but because for over 3,000 years the people who knew it best refused to speak it. They believed the name was so sacred that a single mispronunciation could be an act of blasphemy. Scribes who copied it would stop, wash their hands, pick up a new pen, and only then write the 4 letters. 4 letters that appear over 6,000 times in your Bible, and that most translations quietly replace with a title. The name is YHWH, and it is only one of more than 30 names the Bible gives to God. You have probably never stopped to ask why. Most people treat the names of God like synonyms, different words for the same idea. El, Elohim, Adonai, Yahweh. Close enough, but in the ancient world, a name was not a label. A name was a description. When God told Moses his name, Moses did not receive a title. He received a revelation of what God actually is. And here is what makes this strange and beautiful. Almost every major name of God in the Bible was revealed at a moment of crisis. Not in a temple, not during worship, at the exact point where a human being reached the end of themselves. In the beginning, the name is Elohim. Genesis opens with it. In the beginning, Elohim created. The word is plural in form, a single noun that carries the weight of plurality. Scholars have debated this for centuries, but what you need to see is what the name communicates: power that is not fragile. A God who creates not because he needs to, but because creativity is what he is. Elohim does not need the world. Elohim makes it anyway. Then something breaks: the garden, the choice, the silence that follows, and into that silence a new name appears: YHWH, the personal name, the one the scribes would not speak, the one that appears first in Genesis 2 when God reaches down into the dust and breathes. Elohim creates from distance. YHWH gets close. The Hebrew word behind YHWH comes from the verb to be. Ehyeh asher ehyeh, I am who I am, or more literally, I will be what I will be. Not a past tense, not a finished definition. A name that says, I am not an idea you can contain, I am an ongoing presence. You cannot fully understand God, but you can know that he is always already there. Now the names begin to multiply. Each one is a new crisis. Each one is an answer. Hagar is a slave, an Egyptian, a woman in a world where women were property. She has been used, discarded, and sent into the desert alone and pregnant. She sits beside a spring and expects to die. And then something happens that has almost no parallel in the ancient world. God speaks to her, not to a patriarch, not to a priest, to a slave woman in the wilderness. And she gives God a name that no one had ever given him before. El Roi, the God who sees me. She says, I have now seen the one who sees me. That is not a theological statement. That is a woman who expected to be invisible, discovering she was not. Then there is Abraham. He is on a mountain. He has a knife. He has his son. He has an instruction from God that he does not understand. The knife is raised, and then it stops. A ram is caught in the thicket. The son lives, and Abraham names the mountain Yahweh Yireh. The Lord will provide. Jireh does not just mean provision. In Hebrew, the root means to see, the same root as El Roi. Yahweh Yireh is not just God gives you things. It is God sees what you need before you know to ask. The pattern is not accidental. Every name is given at the edge of human capacity. When Hagar had nothing, God revealed that he sees. When Abraham had no solution, God revealed that he provides. When the Israelites were sick in the desert, God revealed Yahweh Rapha, the God who heals. When they needed peace, Yahweh Shalom. When they needed a shepherd, YHWH Rohi. The names are not a list. They are a map of human need. And here is what this means for you. You are not the first person to feel unseen. Hagar felt that. God had a name for that moment. You are not the first person to reach the end of your resources and not know what comes next. Abraham felt that. God had a name for that moment too. The names of God were not invented by theologians sitting in comfort. They were spoken by people in the desert, on mountains, in slavery, in grief. They are the record of every time a human being reached the bottom and found that something was already there. There is a name for what you are facing right now. You may not know it yet, but someone in the Bible faced the same edge you are standing at. And at that edge, God showed up, and they named him for what he did. The God who sees, the God who provides, the God who heals, the God who is present, the God who was, who is, and who will be what he will be. This is not theology. This is testimony. Every name in that Bible is a story of someone who thought they were alone and discovered they were not.